Let me take you back to before the release of Battlefield 5. In May 2018, the Battlefield 5 reveal dropped into our lives like a lead balloon. This teaser was not a very well received trailer despite the success its predecessor had. And then what followed was a series of really unfortunate events that tainted this game before it even released. And then when it did release, the Battlefield community had its nose so disjointed because of everything that preceded the release. The gamers played it hoping for the best, and they got the worst, and they quickly jumped ship to play something else. At the same time of all of this, Black Ops 4 released, and then shortly after that, so did Call of Duty Blackout. And a lot of loyal Battlefield players put down their copies of Battlefield 5 and started playing the increasingly popular Battle Royale games like Blackout, PUBG and Fortnite. Then in March 2019, Battlefield was updated with a new game mode, Firestorm. But due to this being behind a paywall when PUBG and Fortnite were free to play, the uptake for Firestorm was basically non-existent. Honestly, I think if they made Firestorm a free-to-play aspect of Battlefield 5, it might have done a little better, but alas, another huge miscalculation from DICE. So from May 2018 to March 2019, Battlefield 5 saw very little content, a couple of maps, a couple of skins, the usual. Players had to play the same maps right up until October 2019 when they released the Pacific Theater. This brought back a lot of players for a short time because this content drop was actually really good, but by now the community was craving some modern shooters, and Activision delivered on that with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. This was by far the best Call of Duty I have personally ever played, and really scratched the itch for a Modern Warfare with some great gunplay mechanics. And if Modern Warfare 2019 wasn't enough to draw the Battlefield community away, DICE then changed the TTK in Battlefield 5. That was a huge mistake, and it took them from when they released the TTK change in December all the way through to the beginning of March to change it back again. To be fair to them, they did eventually listen to the community, but that was probably because they were being stung in the wallet thanks to all the players leaving the game and not buying stuff. Also, the problem for Battlefield was that Warzone was just about to drop within a few days, and by this point, anything DICE did to bring back players, it was just not enough. And then when Warzone dropped, it was a huge deal for Activision for such a long time. Especially with the world in the state it was in, Warzone released at exactly the right time. Millions and millions of players flocked into Warzone, realizing how good this game was. Battlefield was basically left for dead. It wasn't long before DICE threw in the towel with the game that was doomed from the beginning, so they gave the players one last content drop with a couple of new maps, new weapons, skins, and they even added charms. And then they washed their hands clean of this game to go and concentrate on the next Battlefield game. Probably the smartest thing they ever did, to be honest. Going back to Modern Warfare though, this game was a lifeline for a lot of us gamers. The gameplay was great, the game mode was new and fun, and it was one of the most profitable Call of Duty games that Activision had ever released, apart from maybe Black Ops 2. But the biggest thing for Warzone was that it was free to play and a modern day shooter with amazing customization, and it was just really fun. And then Black Ops Cold War was announced and it eventually released. The community was a little bit divided about this game. Some loved it because it was returning to the roots of a Call of Duty game, and some hated it, saying that the entire thing was a giant step backwards in terms of gameplay, gunplay and graphics. You could argue that the integration of Cold War was the beginning of the end for Warzone. The integration of all of those weapons into the game was completely botched. You had really overpowered weapons that rendered all of the Modern Warfare favourites obsolete. You had bugs, cheaters, SBMM at an all-time high, and then later we were given a new map, in inverted commas. What was once a light at the end of the tunnel for many gamers, Warzone was quickly becoming stale and frustrating, especially since the world was starting to open up again and the limited time people could actually get on Warzone was just a cheaty, buggy sweatfest. Speaking of cheaters, I don't know about you, but for me, Warzone has tainted everything I do in games now. I used to be able to shrug it off as another player being better than me, but now, even playing Battlefield games, if someone has sick aim and kills me basically instantly, I now automatically think they're cheating when they're probably just a beast at the game. I can't be the only one there. Anyway, as we all know, Raven were now in charge of Warzone, and they were pretty good at balancing the game and listening to the community, eventually. But by that point, the damage had been done. Warzone had become a Fortnite gimmick, and it's basically unrecognisable from the game we were playing a year ago. And then, the Battlefield 2042 trailer dropped, which looked to be answering the prayers of everything the true Battlefield fans were asking for. DICE truly had the community in mind when creating that game. And in my opinion, they're actually going above and beyond to invite all of their lost player base back into the game. But they're also targeting the fatigued Call of Duty community as well. DICE are well aware that Warzone players are craving logical progression on the Battle Royale game mode, whether that's a development on the actual Battle Royale game mode or just to have multiple playable maps with a competitive edge. Hazard Zone is probably going to be the answer to that. And those 6v6 players that want more content, what better way to give that to the player than with the Battlefield portal? Instead of playing the same 15 maps over and over again with the same objective and no customization or custom servers, players, you'll be able to create whatever you want. And then obviously you've got your normal game modes that come with Battlefield titles to appease the loyal Battlefield player base. What I'm really getting at here in this video is that the same thing happens every couple of years for these two franchises. After 2 or 3 years, players begin to fatigue with Call of Duty, and it just so happens that DICE are releasing an amazing Battlefield game this time, and then after a year or two, fatigue with Battlefield franchise begins to appear, at which point Activision publish an amazing Call of Duty game, and the player base flip-flops year after year between Call of Duty and Battlefield. But this time, something's different. The hype for both Vanguard and Battlefield 2042, in my opinion from what I've seen, is pretty much equal. And for casual players, they both look pretty good from an outsider's perspective. If the new Warzone map is good and they can balance the weapons properly, while getting rid of all of the cheaters, I can see that game having another couple of years. But if DICE release Battlefield and they deliver everything it's promising to be, it could well be the last nail in the coffin for Warzone. It's all over Twitter, and it seems that players are exhausted with not being listened to by the devs, so Battlefield could be the answer for them. All I'll say is, DICE, don't screw this up. If you need to delay the game so that we get a polished game, I'm all for that, and I'm sure everyone else is too. And Sledgehammer, just get rid of SBMM and cheaters. That's all you need to do at this point. So in terms of converting to Battlefield from Warzone, I can see a lot of people jumping ship from Warzone because there's not a lot of modern shooters out there right now, and for a lot of people, World War II games have been done to death, and a new map maybe won't save Warzone because of all the problems and how much of a meme Warzone has become. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Will you be jumping into Battlefield as soon as you possibly can, or will you be sticking with World War II games that you didn't necessarily want? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, hit the like button if you agree or disagree with anything in this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Toodaloo!